Testing. Okay, so I'll go back here. God damn it, it's been a while. All right, so last week I worked on the majority of my time. Last week was all about just finishing the presets on the onboarding flow. So I think the last time I streamed was all about the preset stuff, how I created a preset for the LLMs or the call assistant, or you could call this as the character of the AI, and then we then tie that custom AI directly to the user, so that whenever there's an incoming call coming to the number and then they missed whoever this so that whenever they miss answering or responding to this call, then the call would then automatically be redirected to that custom agent. That's trying to remember this on my head. So last week I worked on creating the onboarding flow for the call assistants. Now I got that working. I actually got that one working. I even implemented the selecting the voices for the AI, and that one has to do with selecting the particular voice for your AI, how it should sound like, the age, the gender. I did it really simply because I wanted to do something similar with setting up your Siri. The problem with the voices on this application, or the problem with the audio for these voices, is that they're not loud enough. And I think I don't really know how to work our way around this, because it depends directly on where I'm getting the voices from, which is from the API, and I don't know if there is another way of making them even more louder. But anyway, that's that. And then so I finished all the onboarding flow for the call assistant. So that's the first week. Last week I didn't stream, and I majority of my time last week was literally me trying to record footage here and there and trying to experiment with different things, because I think streaming is great, but sometimes it can get really distracting. But I'm not blaming the streaming. I think it's also a choice to just stream whatever. Anyway, so last week so I finished all the onboarding for the call assistant. Last week was all to do with implementing the payment system, that goes on the App Store. So the in-app purchases. I started designing the payment models for this application. This one is a little bit. I've been reading a book called Profit First, and I've been struggling with how to actually price this application, but in the book they said to prioritize profit before any expenses. And so my take is, so I think I'm just rambling at this point. So anyway, but the point of the book is, how can you should be paying yourself first. It's the Profit First book is basically an accounting model, but really the idea goes down to being more profitable, taking the profit first, and then before paying down your expenses later on. So the whole point is to reduce expenses. How can we reduce expenses for the app? And so I started thinking about, well, okay, so what do I actually need to buy? What are the things do I need to pay to get the app working? So you need to buy the number, and then you need to use some credits to use the services or the transcription models, the AI stuff. It's like these things require specific third-party services, and that has its own cost breakdowns, but it's not that expensive though. The thing is, it relies on a call credits, and so that's what I've been thinking. So what I came up with is that the user, when they're onboarding, the user would have to pay a initial amount for the number, plus some additional call credits. See, I'm still in the thinking process for this. So they pay for the number and they call some amount of call credits from the start, and then from there they can either keep using the app or they can release the number, which would then probably refund the number or refund some amount. Because really, that the reason for this is that there is a monthly payment for acquiring the number, and that's not on me, but that's on Twilio, or the provider that I'm using, and it's actually $1 per month. And on top of that, that doesn't even account the server cost. So this is where I'm sort of trying to find a way. Okay, well, how do I actually price this fairly, and while making sure that it's profitable? Because, you know, in the end, I want to make I'm only trying to make this. I'm only trying to make this. The payment system, it really is just there to keep the app going. Like, it's, you know, I don't have to actually make any profit for it. I think the profit would be nice, because then I can get other people working on this and I can just pay them. You know, the profit could be going to other designers who are much better at designing than me, and I can just hand out the work, delegate stuff for them, because I think that's better. I prefer, as you can see, my designing from when I started this application is not good. My designing skills is pretty mediocre, I'd say, because I don't focus on design. So that's why it's important to. That's why I'm kind of starting to think about, okay, how do I actually price this as fairly as possible, as much as possible, while making sure that it's, you know, profitable. Sure. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that, and so I also worked on the. So apart from the apart from integrating the payment system, I also worked on the user registration. So the user registration, it's not really user registration, but it's more the device registration. So the phone number to device registration. So the reason why this is important is because do I need to explain this? So I worked on implementing the user device registration. And this required, you know, so this is what happens after you purchase the number, and then we tie this number directly to your device, and then and so that whenever there's an incoming call, then we target your device, then we ring your phone, bang, that's how you respond to it. I also worked on this is the more interesting one. So I also worked on syncing the contacts from the phone number of the user to the server. The good thing here is that you don't actually sync the phone numbers directly from, you know, your number from your phone to the server. What actually happens is that what I do is I take all the numbers and then I hash each of the values, and then I save a copy to my server. So that way, when there's an incoming call coming in, what happens is that I hash this phone number, and then I compare, you know, I then check who owns this number, for who is this call meant to, and then check that person's contact list or the copy of the hashes. And so that way you can either do we screen this person, or is this person a known person in the user's phone number or user's contact list, or are they an unknown number? And so that's how I'm implementing a conditional call forwarding, as you might call it. So and then since I started working on the hashing system, I even expanded to the encryption of data. So the encryption of data is important because I do need the value of the primary phone number of the user, and also the screening number, so for future reference. So the way to store this, the way to store these safely is obviously to apply some security security mechanisms. In here I'm using SHA-256 AE, I think AES, for encrypting the values and then decrypting that once they get to the server, making sure that I'm using a stored and in transit sort of type of security models there. And so this I think this week I'm gonna just be working on, I didn't really work on any UI stuff from last week, but this week I need to fix there are some issues with the hashing stuff with some numbers, even though that there are some issues with hashing the numbers, meaning even though the numbers are being hashed and saved to my database, for some reason whenever I'm testing this system, it's not recognizing my number as somebody who's in my contact list. So there's either a problem with the hashing function or the way I'm storing the values. And then I need so this week is also improving the calling mechanism. So one of the issues I also found from last week is managing the Twilio calls and the iPhone native calls. So as you know, that the calls on iPhone are managed by something called a call kit, and the mechanism I'm using for talking directly on the application is using Twilio Voice SDK. So you kind of have to coordinate how the calls are being managed on both sides. So you have to manage the calls coming in from Twilio, but you also have to make sure that the calls from Twilio is directly in sync with the person's device. Okay, sometimes in other cases we have the call is still ongoing on the server, yet on the phone it's still ringing. So that's kind of an issue there. And also working on the in-app purchases for the application. So I got a rough idea of how that would work. So like I said in the beginning, is you pay from the very beginning of the application. You have to pay an initial amount just acquiring the number, and also some amounts for the call credits. So I was thinking maybe this would be like $5 would be a fair price, because really what I would want to do is I want to implement something called like a pay as you go kind of thing. And the only downside here is that, okay, how do you deal with, what if somebody runs out of call credits? Does that mean that they lose this? Or does that mean that they completely, does that mean that we stop sending them notifications for incoming calls? So that's kind of where I'm, okay, well, what happens if they run out of credits? What do we do with the number? How do we make sure that the user is well notified? So this is what this kind of requires a bit of its own session, because for one, the payment, the pricing is an issue, and then the other one is, okay, well, how do we deal with edge cases such as not paying the number? And so I still need to work on the call assistant UI. So as soon as the call has been transferred to your AI, you need to be reminded on what's happening directly as the call is happening. And so I actually tried something here called I tried implementing a live transcription model here for the call assistant. The problem with the provider that I'm using is that they don't have an audio WebSocket. So meaning I can't actually get a live transcription as the call is happening. And so that's gonna be an issue, because, well, actually I tried getting around that. They have this thing called a web calling. So they have a phone call and they also have a web call. And I thought the web call would have worked for this case, but I found last week I tried experimenting this with WebRTC, but I also discovered that WebRTCs only work on browsers. They don't work on Node.js. It's like you can use a library for this, but it's not applicable for the live phone call. So yeah, I'm just gonna get going. I think I'll just keep talking about this nonstop without getting things done. All right, I'm gonna just do it. I also have another issue with the Firebase stuff. That's one of the things I haven't really fully addressed. So the payments, the Firebase, and the call assistant. Yeah, I just have to get through this. Goddamn. Yeah, so I was also gonna make a launch on ProductCon. Yeah, yes. I feel like I have so many things to tell. There's even a A1Z, A19Z speedrun thing. Man, I completely missed out on that. But I'm not even FOMOing, but yeah, they call it the accelerator games and stuff. But yeah, I thought I would have been able to get in, but the due date was the 30th. I was working on this the last minute, and then I just ran out of time. But yeah. Anyway, and also because they were asking for a pitch deck, and I don't even have a pitch deck. Like, okay. Anyway. Okay, I'll just get on to this. Mick Wog.
I recently read Profit First by Mike McCallum.
Yo, Mick Wog. I don't remember you, man. I haven't seen you in ages. Long time no see. Yeah, I didn't stream last week and even like the week prior. Yeah. Okay, I'll just get onto this now, because so my goal today is, so what I'm working on so far is how to coordinate the call kit, the call management from the iPhone calling system, and how to manage the Twilio calling system. So, God, should I use this? Because my computer slows down. So basically, what's that? Okay, so let me just, maybe I can demonstrate it on. I was here last time, maybe in May. Lol 230. Yeah, dude, I don't remember you. Yeah, I usually there's only one. It's like usually there's one person that's like a usual lurker, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's been a while. How you been? Back in May, man. Where was I in May? I think I was working on I was working on the call assistant back then. Yeah. So anyway, since you were here in May, last time in May, actually, so since you've been here since May, what I've been working on is the app for my for the project that I had in May. I think the project in May, I had the call assistant in May. So essentially, so you have that call assistant in May that I worked on, but now you can actually manually I created an app where you can manually screen the call without using AI, but you can type something to it. You can you can have your own voice into it. So maybe I can just show that a quick video. Yeah, man, back in May, I think I was working on something else back then. Okay, so I think I showed it here. Wow, this is 170. Yeah, so I actually, I hope you can hear it. I just remember you were doing this coding challenge and a bunch of Figma. Yeah, so damn. Oh shit. Yeah, so anyway, but anyways, whatever that is, my project there. So I think that's the call assistant. So what I did is I created an application on top of my project then. So this is the the call assistant that I had, so you can kind of hear. I hope you can
So
hear
that
the
concludes
thing.
the
So
demo.
I made an app for this
Redirect to today's page.
where you can actually like type something to it. You have different options Maybe I can show you the proper version. Yeah, it's been a while since I streamed as well, so I feel like I'm kind of new to this again. Yeah, so I created an app on top of the assistant, so this is kind of it. So you accept the call, and then actually no, it's different. So you screen the call, and then you have these different options. So as the call is happening, you can see the caller's transcription, and you don't have to say anything. The AI will do the talking for you. But the difference here is that rather than the AI simply doing its own thing, you can actually tell what the AI would. You can actually control what the AI would say, basically. So that's really the idea of it. So. And so you can call this as the manual screening version, and then you have the fully automated AI version where the AI just does talking on its own. So this one lets you control what to say, basically. And then once you're done, once you have screened this person, you can like accept, and then you can slide to transfer. So this would transfer this would transfer the caller directly to the app. So now you can speak directly in app to this person. Boom, and then there you go. So now it acts like a normal phone calling app. Yeah, so I think, man, it's been a while. Maybe you were here when I was making the what's it called, the dynamic island thing. Yeah, so I haven't actually built this yet. I've just been designing it. Yeah, it's been there's plenty of problems, definitely. I've also launched a test flight for the application. That's one of the major updates for the app, where you can now actually. It's only for invites though, so you kind of have to. So if you're interested in signing up for the test flight, you can go to this website. So the test flight in this case, it does require. I hate to say it, like it does require paying for the number, because that's really the whole point of the application, is that you have a second number to redirect all the calls to. So it's instead of you just sharing, so you can still share. So instead of you having a personal number, you have a second number. The second number basically, you have, this is your AI number, you can call it, where this basically houses the manual screening and then the automated screening. So let's say if you miss the phone call, if you have a long day and then you're too tired to take up the call, it would automatically redirect it to this number, and then the AI would then do the talking for you, and then it would just like create a call summary, and then it would then pop that and then send you as notification. I don't have an iOS device. Anyway, anyway, I'm pretty sure this is already on Android anyway. I think this is already on Pixel phones. Yeah, Pixel phones have their own native call screening. They even have Google Duplex, I think. Yeah. But anyway, so if you're on iPhone, this is basically it. Okay, anyway, so I'm gonna just do this now. Okay. Yeah, so okay, so what I'm working on today is today is the the call coordinator. The call coordinator is important because at the moment I have a system that handles the Twilio calls, and the native iPhone app, native iOS calls. So at the moment, well, last week I'd say, this system here is tightly coupled inside of this. And so what I've been working on the weekend is actually separating them out into independent systems so that there is a coordinator here. Because if you tightly coupled it, managing them becomes a horrible thing. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm working on today. Actually, one more. So because there's a coordinator now, I need the view model. Have you developed an application outside of the Apple ecosystem? Yes, on the web. So I initially started on building websites, building apps on websites, and then I jumped into iOS. I just wanted something different, to be honest. Yeah, you can check out some of my stuff here. So if you can go on Product Hunt. Yeah. So these are some of the past projects that I made that's on the web. Of course, I also have other projects that I did not launch. So yeah, so like this one, for example, this is a simple app that I made where you essentially copy and paste the job description and your resume, and it would just create you a cover letter. Really simple. Like, it's not a. You can even check out my GitHub. Yeah, I use a bunch of different things, but yeah, I think iOS is interesting because you have the Vision OS, and yeah. Anyway, so you have so this is the call coordinator. So it manages these two things. So whatever happens on the Twilio calls needs to be updating the native call, the native iOS app, the native device. So what I need is the view model for this, and you have the call invite. So this is your invite. The call invite is the call invite view. So this would be this thing here. This is the call invite. Yeah, so this thing here, and then you have the active call. So the reason why I separated them out, because so each one of them has a different functionalities. So this one controls what's happening during the call, and then this one essentially you responding, whether you accept or decline the incoming call invite. So this one lets you mute. This is your mute button. This is your speaker mode. So literally it's this screen here. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I'm working on today. It's gonna be painful. Alright, have you ever... That's about... So this is the call, the Twilio call manager, you could call it. Oh god, I hate open. Okay, I'm not opening that anymore. Can't hear it. What the fuck? Okay, so this is the Twilio call manager, and then this is the call kit manager. So I've already done it during the weekend, and all I need to do is the call coordinator and then the view models. All right, so this is gonna be the tough ones. I don't know. Active call view models. Because the thing is, like, how do you... Because I could either turn this into a singleton. That's what I'm thinking. But, the incoming call. So this would take the place call coordinator. Yeah, this is what I was wondering. Like, how do I manage this? It's like, guys, how do I actually speak with? So this is the call coordinator, but how do I send these? Because if I just turn this into a singleton, it's like that's easy, but there's gotta be a better way of this. So call invite. Maybe I should start with where it starts first. So every single call comes in here. Twilio manager and the call provider. So these two are now in one place. So the call coordinator. So all of the calls that comes from the server and Twilio, they first have to start on the voice over IP manager. So the voice over IP is the, you know, how your phone starts ringing, and this is basically how it all gets initialized. And the call coordinator or the calling mechanism is it's the thing that gets you to control what's happening, or how you respond directly to the incoming caller, or maybe how you could control the current call. You can mute the caller, or you can mute your audio whatsoever. Yeah, so it comes in here, and then check if registration is required. Oh shit, true. and then once, so the voice over IP manager doesn't actually report the call. What it does is that all of the incoming caller invites comes in here, and then the job of the calling coordinator or call kit before I changed it is to then report it to the phone. So this is the function that does it, and this is how we sort of identify who's calling us. So call coordinator. So report incoming caller with voice over IP. Should screen call, yeah. The difficult part here, the most difficult part of having two systems, so one managing the iPhone calling mechanism and then Twilio calling mechanism, is the ID here. It's the thing that kind of becomes confusing. So it comes in here, then we set up the incoming caller screen, and then sort of where we report. This is how the phone starts ringing. So oh shit, okay. I think, yeah. The OG. I forgot. That's Mick Watch 92. God, I forgot. I remember it now. God. The OGs. So call coordinator. Calling, reconnecting. Yeah. So what I'm thinking now, okay, I have this ID. Where do I store it? How do I make sure that I keep a hold of this ID? Because currently, the Twilio is managing the IDs, and yeah, this is the. Do I put it here or do I put it here? So this is where we notify the user. So what I was thinking, so the thing is, okay, so this is how I'm handling this. So any incoming caller, so the incoming caller starts ringing the iPhone. This is how you get it. So caller ID, and what it does is that we create a call UID directly from the app, and then we screen that call, and you can either go from accept or you can either decline it, and then we sort of reference this ID back to make sure that the call mechanism is well coordinated. And then let's say you accept the call. So what happens if we accept the call? So the call invite from Twilio, right, has its own ID. So Twilio call ID, and you can either accept or decline this. So this is kind of where I am right now. So what I need to do is to manage these IDs perfectly. So you can either accept or decline it. So this ID needs to then work with this ID here, and also this ID. So that's kind of where I'm thinking this. Call invite. because like once you have accepted the call, so this is kind of where the point of reference. So this is the point of reference here. So this Twilio Voice Manager is all geared towards managing the Twilio call IDs. That's the Twilio call IDs. But there's so the way I'm thinking about this is that there is a parent ID, and then you have the subparent ID. So, and the subparent ID is only created after the user has decided to transfer the call. After the user has decided to use or to invite the caller in to speak to them directly, and then so this would then be activated. So, but apart from so that means what that means. So wait, that means there's always gonna be a native ID for Twilio, for the calling app, the iOS app. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So there's two IDs. Okay, that's what I'm thinking about. There's always going to be two IDs. So it's always these two here. Hopefully I'm not lagging. Okay. Just thinking. Well, okay, so I don't want to do it here because this would be. I'm not gonna. Okay, so I'm not gonna be saving it here. Yeah, I should just do now. So no, tutorial ID. And then this report incoming call is triggered by this thing, so the voice over IP. because it could either be coming from Twilio, or it could either be coming from a custom voice over IP. So okay, so it's better if I explain it here. Yeah, so this is where all the incoming calls come in. So this is all the incoming call invites come in, and it could either be a Twilio, it could either be a custom call. And so I was thinking, okay, well, if it's coming here, then wouldn't it be better to just initialize the parent ID? But the problem here is when dealing with the Twilio call, yeah, there's no way. I don't necessarily want to initialize the call coordinator here. I think it would be much better if I don't do it here then. Yeah. So this handles the custom call and then it reports it here. So Twilio, I'm just thinking how I'm gonna handle this. So for every call invite has its own IP. Call ID. And then so accept call and then so we initialize the ID here, and then once we decide to accept the call, that call comes in here. So we then receive the call invite, which has its own ID. That means it's either, so we're either reporting or not. So we either report the call or not. But regardless, even if that's the case, even if we report the call or not, Because what if I just generate the ID from the server? Because this would appear as, so this is the first stage, right? So this would appear as active call invites and then call ID, and we'll say nil because there's nothing. And then as soon as we decide to accept the caller in, what I could do is to then find this, whatever this ID. Yeah, so this is the Twilio call. So this is the Twilio ID. So we can add, so if there's already, so if it's a known caller, then we then send a direct call invite to our phone. But the problem here is that means we're calling it for the first time, which means that, okay, well, we have to find, do we have an active call ID, call kit ID in place? So currently, so it only works for screening the call first and then accepting the caller through. But what if we don't have the parent ID? So currently, so what we get is the Twilio call. The call, so the call invite just comes in. Twilio call invite. And then so Twilio call invite, and that has its own ID, Twilio ID. And then check. So check for any find any active call ID. Because upon accepting the caller through the app, so, yeah, so what I was thinking, what I could do instead is to save the parent ID, because that would make more sense. Like when we decide to accept the caller through the app, we can just pass on the ID through our server, and so that we have a point of reference. And why is that important? Because like, what if you have multiple callers though? So we can find the active caller. So if it's a known caller, we're reporting it for the first time, and which means that we don't have the parent ID, and all we're left with is create our own ID. Yeah, what if we just, okay, what if I just do it this way? I think that's a good idea. So rather than having this, what if it's a so instead of call ID to call kit ID to tool call ID, it's better to just say, okay, what is the number that's currently calling me right now? So what is the from number? I think that's better. Okay, from number. Because the problem is like, okay, well, what if you have multiple colors coming in? So it's probably better to just say, okay, well, from this from number as the key, then you can just say, okay, well, the call kit ID is this, and this is the Twilio call ID. So that way I can use this as a reference point. Does that make sense? Find the ID, so found ID and then you just need to map. Wait, so what does that look like? So first, you get the incoming caller in. Then I guess we have the payload, right? Was arrived. Then we get the from number. Then we initialize our active call invites. So from this number, so that's the first ID. And then we report this. Then once they come in, accepted caller. And we get the voice over IP again, voice over IP payload. So because the voice over IP, so as soon as we accepted this person, what's gonna happen is, so we still send this payload here. So we still send this caller information, and that caller information has the from number. And all we can do is, okay, well, find the active map, active call map, and then save the Twilio ID there. Oh, okay. So it has its own separate ID. Okay. Alright, so I think I got it now. So call either. So first, who is this person? So phone number. So it is the initial invitation, while the call ID tracks the actual call after it has been accepted. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. Actually, maybe I might not even need the entire object then. So they all come in as, they all have the same call ID. But the IDs here are completely different. The call Twilio ID and the Twilio call ID. So as long as we know who's calling or what the current call is, that's how to best manage it. Excuse me. So the from number, there you go, and the call identifier. if so check if the from number, so this is the Twilio call. This is how you handle Twilio. So check if the from number is already in our map. It's already stored. It's already. So if once you have this, it simply means, so this is called invite, so call identifier. Then what we can say is call identifier and call invite ID is, it's exactly this call invite UID. There you go. Call invite ID. Dude, come on. I'm just getting the AI to do it for me. So if we have a identifier already, then we just want to update that value. And otherwise, if we don't have it, then we need to then create this one from scratch. So this is for handling. So if we have the invite already, so it means that this is for call screening, and this is for first time caller. Most likely this would be your unknown callers. So should report card. So it should report this invite call. Then instead of referring to the tool you call ID, we use the ID from that we generated here in the identifier. So if it's a second time caller, then that means we simply have to add the call ID here and then update it from there if we want to connect or disconnect it. So, the call ID, setting the call invite. Yeah. So for cancel call invites, that means, so get the ID right, so get the from number. What about the call? Okay. thing is, the call. So I'm getting 2 call SIDs. So in this system, there will be 2 call SIDs. Calls ID. Possibly. Cancel call invite. But when do you get a call invite? Because there's 2. So one for call screener, and then one for receiving the call invites. And so those 2 are different. They're both the same for both call invites and the live option. Okay. Yeah, it's better to just make a generic function then. So, so basically ending the call for a specific number. And then by doing this, it will trigger, so it will find the identifier, and then it's gonna trigger this. It's gonna trigger, and it will disconnect from the call management, and then it's gonna disconnect from Twilio, and the call it ended. Well, I was thinking, well, okay, so if this is the case, then we should clear the identifier from How do you do that? How do you do items? Keys and values. Oh, what about this? So we just want to find this ID and then remove from our thing. So that way, we can just say, okay, well, if the caller has decided to cancel the call invite, we can just say, then we just wanna disconnect from it. So yeah, from the end call. Call invite is empty. Let's remove this. So, as much as possible, I want to avoid doing this. So perform answer call. So what happens is, so provider. Okay, already have it then. Content manager. Yeah, I should, yeah, you know what, yeah, that makes more sense. Again, we need to find the ID for this. Oh shit. So we want to do this in two ways. So first, we accept call on Folio, and then we want to accept call on the iPhone or on CallKit. First, CallKit. Manager. Provide. Is that right? Alright, so provider did answer. There you go. from answer call to the call invite. That's it. So yeah, because it all has to come from the call invite then. Oh yeah. And then this active call is what we then use to update our call identifiers. What do you mean? Provider. Oh. Wait. Wait a minute. Oh, right, because I'm triggering this. Yeah, provider did start. And then we can just say, so here, we're gonna say call provider did answer, and then say, so if success. So if success, we want to update the call identifier. They would call ID. It must be unwrapped, but the value of optional type UID must be unwrapped. What? Also, if this is the case, then just say, okay, if we fail to reach the caller, actually no. If we so if you fail to connect, then you can just say so. The thing, okay, the thing is, yeah. So I got the AI to do it for me, and I prefer this version because currently my version is messy. So the old version is what I'm planning to do next is to create a completion function here, where similarly how this function is currently working, where you sort of release that active call, that call object. I don't like this. I think this is better because you're handling the call view model, so you only have one call view model. So I might just use this thing. I think this is better. Yeah, I'll use this. So just have a view model. That's it. So the invite call view, the invite call, so call invite view model, and then about okay. So this is the call invite view model. Call invite manager. That's it. Call invite manager. Finally, even Mark Benioff is calling out Kamala Harris. God damn. She's not even doing any interviews. What the hell is this? God. Fine. Then what is the Call of Duty motto now? You may need to adjust the voice manager to expose the methods for creating outgoing calls and handling incoming calls, which will then return the call object needed for. What the fuck is this? A tower caught the rocket weekend. Jeez. I think I'm gonna just keep it the same. So having the from number as the key value. Handle incoming call view. It's too loud. Fucking hell. Yeah, you know what? I'll take this. I'll use a, instead of using a from number here, I'll use an ID. So I was thinking about, do I need to keep having a second copy of this coordinator for each of these view models? And I don't want to do that. So this would serve as the call kit ID to the call. Indie Hackers is the biggest organized scam ring. Needs to enter, you need to buy Mark's products. Bro. Yeah, I know, dude. I know. Wait. Um, It's basically this. So I don't. Call invite. Yeah, so that means I need to extend this function. But they made a good point though. Perform answered. Because it comes from as a call team model. Yeah, so once we accepted this call invite, then I need to initialize the active call manager. It's just I'm thinking about how I would use this function. Either I pass this call invite manager, or because the way it's gonna work is that, well, this is how we're gonna be using this to add. So this function is gonna be used here. So the incoming call invite. Yeah, so this function is gonna be used here. So we're gonna add the invite manager, invite call here, and I'm thinking how do I best respond to this? Maybe I don't even need the identifier anymore. So this would deal with any call invites. That means I just need to pass the value. And then once that happens, then I need to initialize the active call manager. And I need to store this. Store this in active call manager. So first we want to answer from Twilio and then answer on device. Okay. Dude, I think I'm gonna end this now. What? Okay.